Welcome to the Popcorn Wine Down with Tammy and Eddie. Grab your popcorn, get yourself a glass of wine, and come hang out with us as we discuss TV shows, movies, music, and pop culture.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Popcorn Wine Down. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy.
Hey, and this week we will be talking about The Warrior Nun. But first, let's get to the wine down. I don't know if you've heard, this is some exciting news. You know, Netflix has their whole Strong Black Lead. Well, they have introduced, or they announced at the beginning of the month that they were going to bring back 7 classic Black comedies, starting with Moesha. So that was pretty exciting. Have you checked them out yet?
I have not checked them out, but I am really excited to sit down and start watching Moesha because, all of the shows, because I was huge fans of all of the shows. This is my teenage years coming back. So I'm really excited. But Moesha is actually in the top 10 right now on Netflix ever since they premiered the comedy on Netflix. So that's definitely exciting news.
Yeah. Well, they're going to be staggered starts, so you might want to check out the Netflix website, but the shows also include The Game, Sister, Girlfriends, which I'm really excited about. The Parkers, hey, Miss Parker, Half and Half, One-on-One. All of these were shown on UPN, I believe. So these releases are going to be staggered over the next 2 months, and I'm excited to check them out too and see how well they've aged over the last 20 years or so.
I think they'll still be relevant no matter when they're showing. Yeah.
So also Lifetime has followed in Freeform's lead. They have announced that they are going to air their first LGBTQ holiday film. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with that on Lifetime. Lifetime is a little tricky. When it comes to their holiday movies, they're a little sugary, sweet, and saccharine, but they'll show all those psycho stalker movies any other time. So it's a weird, they walk a weird balance. But they're following Freeform's footsteps from their Valentine's movie.
Which was extremely successful when it premiered on Freeform.
Yeah, The Thing About Harry, it was great. I loved that movie. It was so cute. So do you think Hallmark is going to be next?
I don't know, because you remember Hallmark had that little bit of a scandal where they changed that commercial with the same-sex couple kissing at their wedding. And they had taken it out of the commercial, and then there was such an uproar that they put it back into the commercial and said, "Oh, my bad, didn't mean to do it." And I'm just like, okay, you realize that nobody really cares anymore about that kind of stuff the way that they used to. But yeah, so I mean, a couple years, maybe they're gonna wait to see how Lifetime does with their first holiday movie and then go from there. Because they're going to jump on the bandwagon if they see that it's successful and there really is a true market for Hallmark.
Yeah. So I'm interested. I don't watch a lot of Lifetime. I usually don't watch the Lifetime Christmas movies, but
they're
we'll
really
see.
Long.
Yeah.
Something else that I found out was they're also going to feature the first Chinese American family holiday movie as well. So I'm also excited about that. They've never done that before, but it's going to feature a Chinese American family for the first time ever on Lifetime for one of their holiday movies. So that's also room for excitement as well, is that they're really becoming way more diverse than they used to be, you know?
Yay! Representation. I'm all for it.
Definitely love it.
And big news for the MTV Musical VMAs, they are going to be held live, and no one can see my air quotes around that live. Keke Palmer was announced to be the host, and I'm really excited about that. I love Keke Palmer. Good things happening for her, and people have been calling for her to get her own talk show since her show Michael, Keke, and Sarah was canceled due to the pandemic. But so the thing about this is MTV was so excited. They say, hey, we're going to be live. And this was announced after the Emmys. And everybody's like, if the Emmys aren't going live, how's MTV going live? And so everyone was nervous. They were excited. Are they going to have an audience? Are they not going to have an audience? They were going to be in a Barclays Center in Brooklyn, which is the home of the Brooklyn Nets. How are they going to do it? Then BTS was announced as one of the performers, and everybody's like, yay, BTS. And then the Army was like, whoa, you're sending BTS to the US? You do realize that our pandemic response is screwed all the way up. So that was a big thing. And then BTS's management, Big Hit, sent out a note saying that, hey, all of BTS's promotion for their first upcoming English single, Dynamite, is going to be held live from Korea. So they're going to be doing live virtual performances from Korea. So that soothed a lot of people. And then yesterday, MTV actually announced that after consultation with the state and the city, they're still going to be quote unquote live, but what they're going to do with their performances is scatter them throughout the boroughs of New York City. And that's going to be interesting to see how it works. Right now, what's going through my head is just clusterfuck. Yeah, because I'm still confused about all that, but we'll see.
I mean, if they're gonna do outside and not have an audience, like I feel like that's also setting yourself up, because even if you're saying that we're not gonna have an audience, people are going to show up if you're having artists perform live. Now, granted, they've only announced 3 artists so far that are performing. BTS, which is the biggest act that they really have right now. What is her name? Doja Cat?
Yeah.
Doja Cat, and then J Balvin. Balvin? I don't know those people.
Balvin.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've listened to their music, except for Doja Cat. Like, she just seems like somebody I don't want to listen to. But so it's definitely going to be interesting, but they've only had 3 performances. So is everybody else going to be a surprise, or is everybody else telling them, no, we're not doing this because, you know, you definitely shouldn't be doing this?
Yeah. Well, they announced it's going to be limited to no audiences for their outside performances. But like you said, Doja Cat and J Balvin so far. So maybe they should just do virtual performances or let the people perform virtually. We know it can be done, so we'll see.
It can, but I think what I would say about that is that the production of BTS performing virtual is a very different production than American music artists performing virtual. Like they literally have a full studio that they do their performances in.
Well, I don't know. Like, one of the big categories is best virtual performance. And I don't know if you've seen Chloe and Halle's production from their backyard in their tennis court. You need to go check out those performances. Those girls go off. And whoever is doing their background and everything, they're amazing. So, I mean, it can be done in different ways. I don't know if you want to get them in different sound studios or how it can happen. But we're learning how to be more innovative during this pandemic time.
So speaking of
it should be. Speaking of innovation, we have some news about Disney releases and what's coming up. We've been talking about Mulan and how it had been completely removed from the schedule. Well, it is back on the movie release schedule, to some controversy at that. So it's coming out September 4th, and it's going straight to Disney Plus for $30. And it's also coming out in theaters. And but the thing with Disney Plus is
it's coming out in theaters as well?
Yeah, limited release. That's the thing. It's limited release in the theaters. And I'm going to explain that in a minute. I kind of understand it because I checked out some of the information about the theaters, and it's kind of scary. But so Disney, the $30, most people don't want to pay it. I'm one of those people who are like, that's a lot of money. But Disney is saying that you pretty much, if you pay that $30, you pretty much own the movie in your Disney catalog as long as you keep Disney Plus. But it's like, well, I paid $30 extra on top of my monthly fee, so shouldn't I keep the movie forever because it's mine? I paid $30 for it. But so So it's going to be wide release on Disney Plus, limited release in certain theaters. And that's how they're doing Mulan. They said it's a one-off, and there was a rumor floating around. Someone tweeted later on that Black Widow was also going to be released on Disney Plus. It's not. That is not the goal or the plan for Black Widow at this time. So that was a fake tweet that went around. They still have yet to announce a release date for Black Widow, but I think maybe they might be checking out to see how well Mulan is going to do on Disney Plus. But most people polled said they don't want to pay that $30. And right now, during these times, it's kind of hard to get people to want to pay that much money, extra money on a movie. Some people are, trying to decide between living and eating. So that I don't know. We'll see how that works out.
I don't know. I'm thinking I may have to share that price with a couple people. Be like, be like $5.
Yeah.
So we can all watch Mulan.
Yeah, and then someone I guess it's just our mindset, because when you think about it, you would actually pay more than that to go see it at the movies. Think about the $15 movie ticket, the $15 movie ticket, the $20 for snacks. That's $35 right there, and the $20 for snacks is just basic popcorn and a drink. So we would pay that much for a one-off at the movies versus.
Because I had my AMC Stubs card, and so I was paying $22 a month to see 3 movies a week. So it would have been like $5 for me. And then, you go and you get your snacks on the side, and I would have went and seen it for way cheaper than the $30 they're trying to charge me for. I don't know. Like other people maybe, but that's real pricey for Mulan. I like it, but
Yeah, and then considering like if it comes on Apple or Netflix, Apple, iTunes, if you were to purchase it from Amazon or iTunes library, the most that you would pay for it at that point would be $20 or $14 when it goes on sale or something like that. So it's
you're paying an extra $10 to watch it now. But I heard they're trying to get back the money that they've lost because they've had to push the release date twice, and Disney is literally like they're losing so much money because we went into lockdown 2 weeks before Mulan was supposed to premiere.
Yeah,
so it's the Disney way of trying to get back the money that they lost.
Yeah, the Disney Corp for this last quarter reported $5 billion with the B in losses, and that's from their parks and their movies and all that. So they have been. Everyone is bleeding money here. But part of it is I understand because the theaters, their openings vary from state to state. It is a mess. Like some have mask mandates, some don't have mask mandates, some have seating mandates, some have capacity, some are going 100% capacity, some are going 60%. So it just depends on the state. It's like a mess. Me personally, it didn't soothe my worries about going into theaters when I read that. But also in exciting Marvel Disney news, Nia Acosta has been tapped as the Captain Marvel 2 director. And most of us have never heard of Nia Acosta. Her big movie premiere was supposed to come out this summer with the Candyman remake. She is African American, and I believe Captain Marvel 2 would be her second major film. So that is big. I've heard great things about Candyman. Of course, we haven't seen it yet, but just her casting in that is big. And we talked last week about Ava DuVernay. She's also doing a comic book movie called New Gods. So Nia Acosta would join Ava DuVernay and Gina Prince Blythewood, as the 3 African-American women to helm comic book movies. So I'm excited about that.
No, that's really, really cool. And then like looking at it even deeper, she's going to be one of only 3 female directors for the Marvel Universe and one of only 2 Black directors for the Marvel Universe. So congratulations to her for, hitting that milestone and, joining that family.
She is. Her the other 2 women. I didn't know that another woman had done Marvel movie. Huh.
No, because the first Captain Marvel was a woman was a female director.
Oh yeah, it was.
I forgot who the other one was, but I think it was a male-dominated superhero movie. But I didn't get who the third the third movie was for the female director. And then, of course, we know that the second Black director was for Black Panther.
Yes. So we're making strides. It's going to be interesting. And Captain Marvel is slated to come out in 2022, I believe. I have to double check that.
Yeah,
date.
no, that's what I got. 2022. It's starting the phase 5. It's going to be starting phase 5 of the Marvel universe. As long as they stay on track with the movies, I guess.
Yeah, the phases might have to be the time. Let's just say the times are malleable. But also in other renewal and movie news, John Wick has already been renewed for a 5th sequel. They're going to shoot it in conjunction with the 4th. So next week, not next week, but next year when they start shooting John Wick, they're going to shoot John Wick 4 and 5 simultaneously. I don't know if 5 will be the end of the John Wick series. I love John Wick. So
headshot.
That was all of that over a dog. I mean, it started over the dog, but
dog. It was over the fact that they disrespected the legacy of his wife, okay? And they needed to die, right?
Over a dog. I get it. But and I love dogs, but I'm like, dang. Okay. Also, one of our favorites, Love Victor, was renewed for season 2.
Woo!
Yay!
It's so exciting.
So, I am really excited. I don't know if you watch this show, Married at First Sight. It's a reality show. It's been renewed for 6 seasons. So you get 6 seasons of drama on Lifetime for that. And also for the Witcher fans, they've renewed Netflix has picked up the option for the prequel Blood Origin. So The Witcher Blood Origin. And I know you watched The Witcher, so
yes, if you haven't watched The Witcher, please go and watch The Witcher on Netflix. It's a little confusing with the time frame, but once you kind of figure it out, it's really, really good. It's really good. So I advise everybody to go and watch that.
Well, I'll have to check it out. I heard about the confusing time frame, and I'm like, I don't know, but I will check it out because I do love Henry Cavill. And speaking of Netflix, today I'm excited to talk about The Warrior Nun. Yay! Yay! I don't hear your excitement. Yay!
We'll talk about it.
Okay, so we today are talking about The Warrior Nun. I'm really excited. Spoiler alert, okay? Go ahead and get that out the way. But The Warrior Nun is on Netflix, and it's a comic book adaptation of a series from a very popular series from the 90s called Warrior Nun Aurelia. I hope I pronounced that right. And it's about this girl named Ava, or this woman named Ava, who grew up in an orphanage, and she wakes up in a morgue. Yes, she woke up from being dead, only to find out that she's no longer paralyzed, and she has superpowers now due to a mythical disc called the Halo being placed in her back. So now she's the Halo bearer, and pretty much the de facto leader of a group of nuns, a secret set of nuns that are in charge with protecting the world from demons. So it was really, really good. I loved it. And I know that you
did not. I watched it. I watched it because you suggested that I watch it. And then it's kind of I got bored with it midway through, and you kept telling me, no, you just got to watch it till this episode and this episode. And then I was just like, then finally I was at the point where I had to finish the series because it was I wanted to know how it ended, even if, I wasn't fully entertained by it. So yeah, it wasn't necessarily on my top, list, but I did finish it.
Well, it was, and I say that a lot, especially I find with streaming episodes and things that are serialized, kind of you have to give them, most of them to me, they pick up after the first 5 episodes, because those are usually the background. And The Warrior Nun, I could say, is actually like 2 stories in one. The first 5 episodes, the first half, is really about Ava learning how to live life. Because like I said, she'd been orphaned, abandoned in this orphanage, and she was paralyzed her whole life. So finally, to be able to walk around and do the things that she had wanted to do, it's like she tries to cram all of that into a couple of weeks, like falling in love and, going to parties and just doing things that typical teenagers do, living the life that she had more or less been robbed of. So that's what the first 5 is about. And there are moments in it where it seems like it gets a little bogged down, but then the next 5 are really about her coming into her own and accepting her responsibilities as the Halo barrier, or this badass warrior nun. So I rather enjoyed it. So what didn't you like about it specifically?
I'm not a fan of the main character, Ava. She didn't pull me over to her side to like cheer her on. I felt she was very whiny through the whole series. She bitched and moaned the whole time. And then also, like you said, with it kind of being split up. So it was very random to me on the first 5 episodes. I felt that it was those friends that she met were unnecessary to the story. It did get a little bit more interesting once they got rid of them, but then it just seemed so random. Like one minute they were there and the next minute they were all gone. Like even the boyfriend that she ends up getting, her love interest or whatever. Like one episode he's there, and then for the rest of the season, nowhere. Like there was no conversation about like how it ended. There was no like, oh, did anybody check on him? It was a very selfish reaction that she had to the fact of him seeing demons and being traumatized, and nobody like went to like help him out with his trauma. And I'm just like, where did he go? Like, is he in a mental institution now because he saw demons attacking and nobody came to help him understand? Like, I kept waiting for them to like pull him into the whole thing, and I was just like, yo, they really leaving him by himself. Like they're not gonna even try to help him out. And it was kind of like she forgot about him. Like it was like he was a nobody to her all of a sudden. So I thought it was a little too random, but also I couldn't get behind the main character. Now Shotgun Mary and Beatrice, and even Lilith,
kick ass.
And even Lilith, like those were my girls. Okay, like I liked their characters. But Ava, nah, I'm good. Like, so. Well,
yeah. I agree with you on the whininess at first. I like I said, I kind of understand it. She didn't ask for this, She was happy to have a second chance at life, but she didn't want the responsibility that came with it. And I guess it comes from the standpoint of, well, I didn't ask for this, So, I understand that. The friends, they left after they figured out that, they set her up to be kidnapped or whatever. And he JC is his name, the love interest. He left his friends when they were like, you have to choose, because she brings too much trouble, too much danger. So you have to choose between her and us. And he chose her. So I agree with you. I thought the way they got rid of the boyfriend, I liked him. I liked his character. I thought he had potential. I thought their relationship had potential.
He humanized her and made her a better character, like somebody that you can kind of see that she was like, when she was with him, I saw like she was trying to grow, like she was trying to figure herself out. But like when she wasn't with him, I was just like, oh, please stop whining. Like, come on.
Yeah, so I agree with you. The randomness in which he just went away, like there was no conversation about like, what should I do? I understand her being scared, and that was one of the things, because he knew she was keeping something from him, and I loved how he didn't necessarily push her about it. He was just like, when you're ready to talk to me, I'm here. And granted, it was a big something, but yeah, I can agree with you on that. That was one of my least favorite things. It's just how you invest 5 whole episodes into this character and this relationship, and then like she's gone. Like the payoff sucked as far as that goes. I could have even understood it better if he had been killed by the demon, and that would have been one way to end that. So I don't know. I've never read the comic book series. I don't know if
the comic book
didn't
even have Ava as a character. The comic book was actually based on the first Halo bearer. No, not the first one, but the
Beatrice?
one who ended up dying in the beginning, Shannon.
I'm sorry.
Shannon was the main character of the comic books, and that's the reason why they killed her in the beginning of the show, is so that they could create this whole new character, Ava, and like tell their own stories without having to change up Shannon's stories for the TV,
For the TV, okay. But yeah, so I hope that's a thread that they pick up on if it gets renewed for a second season. I'm really interested to see what happens with JC. Now, I do have to admit, I think Ava grew a lot from the beginning to the end. It's like she came into some sort of acceptance and of who she is and her responsibilities as the Halo bearer. But yeah, Shotgun Mary was definitely one of my favorite characters. Yeah. She was badass. Like Shotgun Mary.
And I love the fact that like she like they'd be like, but aren't you a nun? And she's just like, no.
No.
She's like, I'm here for a purpose, but I ain't no nun. Like it's like I ain't about that life.
She still had, it's like she gained, and that was the thing. I love that she showed that she could do this without necessarily giving up her own beliefs and her own set of values, what she believed in. She still had respect for the sisters in what they did, but it was like, look, I'm not a nun. I'm here to fight the demons. I'm here because of this. I'm here, to avenge Shannon, who you also got the feeling. And one of the reviews that I read about, it took issue with the fact that they could have had more representation, especially for LGBTQ, because you knew it was heavily hinted that Shannon and Mary were more than just friends and sister warriors and all of that. Yeah. And I was really interested to know more about that story. And also, is it Beatrice Beatrice, who you get the feeling is falling in love with Ava, and the whole reason that she became a nun is because they were trying to convince her to pray the gay away. That was what I got picked up from that. So I hope that if it is continued, that they don't necessarily shy away from telling those stories because they don't want to offend, the Catholic Church. And
really, they don't want to offend the Catholic Church. Really?
Okay. And one of the themes that I also picked up on was the whole science versus faith. And it just seems like, and especially in this day and age and everything that's going on about how you try to make them enemies, and they don't have to be enemies. You can believe in science and you can still have faith, but the lady who ran the the tech firm who was working to save her son's life. Julian, yeah. And how, it was just like, it was the either or proposition, which is running really rampant in real life right now. Is it science or is it faith? Like, you can't believe in both. So that was an interesting thing to me as well.
Well, it goes back to our review from last week when we reviewed the Old Guard. And I remember when Andy and Niall were on the plane and Niall was praying and Andy said, well, continue with your supernatural because it seems that it's doing you well right now, because she was praying, but she's just like, but you won't believe that you're immortal, but you're gonna, you believe. So I'm just like, that kind of gave me that feel, like that came into my head when I was thinking about the review for this. Is that's kind of the same thing on, like, I feel like you have to believe in science. If you believe in God, if you have if you believe in God, whichever God you believe in, you have to believe in science in a way, because didn't you say, like people say all the time, he created everything. So wouldn't he have created the science that you're supposed to believe in?
And the scientists, and yeah. So we've I don't know if I can say we're past the point of getting messages from the burning bush. Sometimes I think that would be a lot easier, just sending down the angels to talk to us. And a direct message from the burning bush would be great. Might be scary. You'd be like, I've gone crazy, but no more crazier than everything else that's going on. So I get that. It would be great to see where science and faith can kind of come together. And maybe that's what they were getting at the end, where her son just kind of walked into the whatever that thing is she was building, her bridge to heaven, or her version of heaven, where he was like, his angels are waiting for him. So I would be interested to see how that plays out next for the second season.
Yeah, definitely. Like, where did he go?
But what did you think about, so we talked about what you didn't like. What did you like?
I did like that it was a female-centric show. So while they did have the men, and I will say, while the men were the ones who were in charge in, every single avenue, except for the one who was working with Dr. Julian, I still like the fact that it was focused on the women. It was a female-centric show. So definitely that was a plus. I love that they kicked ass. Like, they definitely were badass women. Every single one of them. Like, I want you next to me if I ever get into a fight. Like, please be next, except for Ava. She go about her business. But Shotgun Mary, Beatrice, and I forgot what the other... Lilith, and the other really nice one. I forgot what her name is.
Oh, the one at the end who just came through with the...
oh my gosh. I forgot what her name is.
Is it Sister Camila?
Could be. I'm gonna just take your word.
Yeah, I believe it's Sister Camila.
Yeah, but...
the one who seems so innocent, and she just came in at the end ready to, take no prisoners. Yeah.
She was like, I'm ready to go. Like, let's do this. But yeah, so I think that was the best thing. Like, that was the thing that I loved the most. And then I also loved the ending. Even though cliffhanger, they ended it on a cliffhanger, but the epic battle of them saying like, oh, we're ready to go, and fighting against, is it Ariel?
A drill.
A drill, and then Father Vincent, who ends up betraying them. So that was cool.
Yeah. What did you think about that? Like, the whole discovery that I kind of sensed Father Vincent wasn't quite who...
You saw it coming.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw his betrayal coming, but I also... How did you handle the discovery that Adriel was actually the big bad? That he,
saw that coming too.
I did too, but what I didn't see coming.
What?
What I didn't see coming is the Halo disc. Is it really demonic?
Yes. Okay. I did not see that coming. Because I looked at Adriel as in kind of like basically the devil, right? Where the devil is a fallen angel. So I looked at it as in he was in heaven. He had his halo. He did really bad stuff up there. They got sent down to hell. Okay. And he figured out a way that, okay, I'm going to escape this and give up my halo, and that's how I am going to become basically like a god on earth, because ultimately I feel like that is his goal. Like, he wants to be the ultimate god on earth, or whatever, however you want to describe that. But you know what? I will say, even though I saw Father Vincent's betrayal coming through, it made me mad. It made me mad because of the whole him being close to Mary. And when Shannon told her, don't trust no one, but at the same time, it's just like, but it's Father Vincent. Like, so, and then the fact of saying that he directed them to not trust the dude who became the Pope, and he ain't even know what was going on.
Yeah, he was just in it for, he was in it for
the power. Like, he just wanted to become Pope. He was in it for the power.
He reminded me a lot of 45, just ignorant and power hungry. Like,
that know what's going on around you at all.
Yeah, that was the extent of his evil. It's just that he wanted to be in power, and was willing to do anything and sacrifice anyone to get that. So he was his big badness or his evil was just on a different level. It had nothing to do with the demons. But it was a good red herring. But I think when I really knew there was no doubt that Father Vincent was bad, wasn't when he took Mary to see that he had a past life and some of the things that he did. It was just some of his looks, like some of the subtle looks and the way he was acting, and things of that nature. So that betrayal didn't shock me, but what I would really want to see in season 2, if there is a season 2, is how, like, the plan had, like, since was him turning his life over and becoming a father, was that all part of the plan? Like,
how did Adriel get in contact with him?
Yeah, that's the backstory I want to know, is like, how did Adriel turn him? How did he get in contact? Has he always been a foot soldier? Like, I find that really interesting. And also, again, the halo bearer seems to be a person who innately does good. So the demons, are they attracted to the halo because it's demonic, or just because it's powerful? Like, because it hasn't, like, none of the previous warrior nuns were evil. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, is it really demonic, or is it something that he stole from heaven? Or is it his halo and he couldn't keep it? Like,
it could be his essence. Like, I think that with his halo, it became demonic when he got sent down into hell.
Okay, so
and
you think
when he came back onto the earth, it became demonic because he was demonic.
Okay, so you think it kind of like absorbs the essence of whoever has it? Or like, just back in their possession, it would be demonic, or it would be bad? I mean, because there's no doubt that the demons
whoever has it would use it for whatever they want to use it for. But so if he gets it back, it will turn into the ultimate demonic weapon that he wants. But being in the halo bearer, yes, and I also think it's partly because they've always believed that it was for good.
It was for good. Okay.
But they only ever used it for good. But you never know if it was ever in the wrong halo bearer. It could turn just as evil, and they could use all their powers for evil, just like they used it for good.
So you liked it a little bit more than you let on. You have to admit, it did get more interesting.
No. I can have a conversation about it because I watched the whole series. No, but I can honestly say, like, I watched the whole thing and I had to drag myself through it. Like, I really had to sit there and be like, nope, we're going to continue watching it. We're going to watch it all the way until the end. Yep. I will be honest and say I skipped some parts. I did skip some parts that I felt was unnecessary for me to watch. But ultimately, it did not entertain me. Like, it wasn't something that I'd be excited to see season 2 come out. Like, I probably wouldn't even watch season 2. Like, unless we have to, like, review it again, which, probably end up reviewing it again. But I'd only watch it because we have to review it. But I wouldn't watch it on my own time because I want to know what happens. I'd be like, no, I just wait for you to tell me. Or, my sister is a huge fan of it as well. She wanted me to tell you that she loves it. And she was just like, you're weird. Like, how do you not love? Like, it was really good. And I'm just like, to each their own.
So, okay, does it warrant a season 2 in your opinion?
I can see it getting a season 2. I can see it getting, because there's more story to tell. I may not necessarily have enjoyed it, but there's more story to tell. And I can see the purpose of having a season 2 for that show though. So yes.
Yeah, and I think a season 2 would serve it well, because there's a lot left unanswered. Like I said, there's so many ways you can go. Like, how did Father Vincent become bad? And you don't have to set up as much backstory as you did.
And they have the big bad now, like, and it can focus on the big bad and how they're basically going to survive against someone that has the same power, or even maybe even more power than the Halo.
Thank you. And who possessed everybody in that square as demons.
Like that. Like it was real quick on that. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So, one of my favorite things, I love music, and the soundtrack for Warrior Nun has some great music featuring Frank Ocean and Billie Eilish, and I can never say this right, Likey Lee or Licky Lee, but so I highly recommend you check it out. And that leads us to the rating. What would you give? I'm gonna let you go first. I'm going to give you the honors. How many popcorns are you giving this one?
So I am going to be kind, and I am going to give the Warrior Nun 2 popcorns. Yes, I'm gonna give it 2 popcorns. It was doable. I did finish the series, so it wasn't so horrible that I couldn't get through it. But like I said, it wasn't entertaining enough for me. It didn't catch my interest enough for me for it to warrant 3 popcorns, let alone 4. So I'm gonna give it 2 just because it wasn't necessarily my cup of tea, but still I can see the promise of the series, though. I definitely can see that. So that's me. So what is your ratings? How many popcorns are you giving the Warrior Nun?
I'm giving the Warrior Nun 3.5 popcorns. I was stuck between 3 and 3.5, but I'm going to go ahead and give it 3.5 popcorns. I really want to know what happens to JC. I would be interested in seeing a second season, and I think that it's deserving of a second season. So, again, that is The Warrior Nun on Netflix, and that wraps up our time for this week. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Popcorn Wind Down. Be sure to tune in next week when we will be talking about The Kissing Booth 2. Woo! Until then, I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy. Bye.